word Indus to denote the Cushite or black type of humanity. Humanity meaning Homo sapiens sapien. Okay. And then the second paragraph, it says the term Indi meant black men. He has that in quotation. According to tradition, the people of India were made up of Hind and Sind, sons of Cush. Ham was supposedly the father of Cush, Mizraim, Egypt, Put or Punt, and Canaan. Now, in another live, I made mention just moments ago that I read from the Bible, Genesis chapter 10. Okay, I encourage you to check that live out because I actually went over the scripture. I'm not going to go over the scripture today, but I want you to check that live out and get into it really and understand what is really happening here. Is that scholars have the understanding and make mention and make known that Cush is both Kemetic and Shemitic. The Cushite tribes are both Kemetic and Shemitic, right? The Anu are both Kemetic and Shemitic. Okay? The Elamites are both Kemetic and Shemitic. The Medians are both Kemetic and Shemitic. That's why the indigenous Arabians are black. We already put that through here that the Cushites and the Anu were the original settlers of this land, of the Levant. Now, thus the old name of them. But another word, another frame that you can use it by, Kemetic and Shemitic people groups. So the Cushites and the Anu, which is a combination of the Medians, the Elamites, the Samaritans, all of that. The original people groups, the original Ethiopians that colonized and set up civilization, and first to do so, are black people. And these people created the languages and cultures that we observe today. And we know it as Kemetic and Shemitic. They're also referred to as Nubian. They're also referred to, as we say here, the term Cush also goes into the Sumerians and Egyptians and to denote Nubia. That's what it says here. I'm not making any of this up. So the term Indi meant black men. According to the tradition, people of Indi were made up of Hind and Sind, sons of Cush. Ham was supposedly the father of Cush, Mizraim, Egypt, Put or Punt, and Canaan. The term Cush was also used by the Sumerians and Egyptians to denote Nubia and the lands below Egypt, while Punt or Put or Foot was used to denote the area from the Horn of Africa westward to Cush. As mentioned earlier, settlers in Asia called their settlements Putia and Kushia. Now, some people may just say, oh, well, it says here the Samaritans or the Sumerians and the Egyptians denote Nubia. They call Cush Nubia. Once again, Cush is a form of people group. There were other people groups. Egypt is known as Put or Punt. They all are relatives. Sumerians are a Cushite and Shemitic people group. The Egyptians are Kemetic and Shemitic people group. Nubians are Kemetic and Shemitic people group. Cushites are Kemetic and Shemitic people group. The Anu are Cushites and Shemitic people group. Kemetic, I said Cushite, Kemetic and Shemitic people groups. So, though the writer, the author, Dr. Winters is making mention, he's not dividing, he's clarifying the different types of people groups and how they related to each other. Now, I'm diving deeper to give a deeper understanding that all these people that I'm making mention right here in this paragraph are genetically related. And he made mention that based upon using a biblical reference, the sons of Ham. once again, who are what Cush. Ham was supposedly the father of Cush, Mizraim, which is Egypt, Punt, which is also Egypt, and Canaan. It's going all into the northeast part of Africa and well into the Levant. So that's what it's referring to. And Ethiopia or Cushites came southern part, below Egypt, all the way up to Egypt, passing Egypt, going into Libya, going to the Levant, going into Greece, going to Asia. And they continue on. Mind you, this is in waves, right? So before the Cushite went, the Anu or Negrito went. They went out first, or prior to the Cushites. They were one of the first ones to leave Africa. Then the next wave was the sons, quote unquote, sons of Ham, portion, which is the Egyptians, and the Sumerians, which is Punt or Put or Mizraim. They are Kemetic and Shemitic as well. They funneled into the Levant, also building up Egypt, also building up Lebanon and Libya. Now we have the Cushites who now are migrating in waves. They created Babylon. They created the prototype of Greece and the prototype of Troy. So basically, when we hear stories about Troy and about Greece, the ancient times, these are the Cushite tribes, or the Nubian tribes, or the black tribes, right? The Spartans are black, right? So it's a lot of history there, and a lot of miseducating, and a lot of misinterpreting, and a lot of misreading, a lot of misses is going on here, right? It's a lot of ma'ams going on here. Joke. But what I'm saying though is, hopefully I'm making it clear. Now, once again, somebody will talk about the Greeks and Romans. Once again, ancient Greek and ancient Romans are black civilizations before 3000 BC, right? Rome wasn't really an empire back then. It was affiliated or absorbed with Greece, right? Greece or Troy or Sparta, they were a different civilization prior to the Macedonians. When the Macedonians came down in waves and made war with the people groups there, the black people groups there, they took over their land, they took over their names, their identity of the original people who they know, they call them as Ethiopians, right? Which means burnt face, right? They took over their lands, their cultures, their language. This is what happened, right? And in doing so, they emulated the people. They emulated the people, meaning as they tried to become so much like these original Greeks, original Romans, original people of this land, that they tried to outdo them at being them. That's why if you pay attention to the pottery, the vegetables, if you pay attention to the pottery, you're going to see different types of images. You're going to see dark images and you're going to see pale images. You're going to see dark skin, and you're going to see very, 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 very blemish or pale or very, very light, not like light skin, but like no color at all skin. All right, skin tone. So this is what you're going to see if you pay attention to that. All right, let's see where I'm at. Okay, 43. All right, continuing on, page 69. The Far East origin of the Dravidians. The origin and spread of the Cushites, page 69. Paragraph 3. The inhabitants of ancient Middle America were called Mediterranean. The inhabitants of ancient Middle Africa were called Mediterranean. The Mediterranean or brown race originated in the Sahara around 10,000 years before the present black people groups. So what is he saying here? Let's not get caught up in colors, because that's what's going to throw you off, probably, I'm assuming. What he's saying, that the people, the Mediterranean people, lived in the Sahara, going back to out of Africa theory. 10,000 years ago, before the people of the Mediterranean that we know today as the Trojans, as the Greeks, as the Spartans, as we know today as people of the Turkey, Arabians. This is the area, right, that we're talking about. The Levant, this is the area. He's calling them brown because this is what they will be known as today, as brown people groups, not the white Macedonian people groups, not the white people who are there. He's making mention that he's using brown because that's what they will be called today. Now, a lot of them were moved far from the borders, but the people groups who are known as brown today, who are known as brown today? Arabs, right? Indians, right? That's what it's going into. Now, they are black people. They're white Arabs and they're black Arabs. But the black Arabs are known as brown, right? The white Arabs are just white, right? And then you have the brown Indians and you have the black Indians. But these are political terms. So I don't want to get caught up in the politics of the color. He's just going into what they will be known as today. This is the language that he's using the language of today to try to connect it to the past so you can understand. But all these people looked similar, but they were variations of the same. Okay? They are both Kemetic and Shemitic people groups, okay? All right. The inhabitants of ancient Middle Africa were called Mediterranean. The Mediterranean or brown race originated in the Sahara around 10,000 years before the present day black people groups. Okay. The Mediterranean type were round-headed with a fairly tall stature, not devoid of Negroid characteristics. They are a variant of the same. What he's saying is that they are Negritos. What he's saying is that they are Kemetic and Shemitic. That's what he's going into. They are black people. That's what he's saying. Read it again. The Mediterranean type were round-headed with a fairly tall stature, not devoid of Negroid characteristics. These are black people. They were first found in Kafsa, now Kafsa. They flourished in an area extending from the westmost borders of North Africa into the southern Sahara. They lived in hillocks or slopes near water. So where do they exist? North Africa and also into southern Sahara, sub-Sahara. They lived in hillocks or slopes near water. These people are known as the Mediterranean. This is before they migrated out of Africa and settled those lands. Mediterranean means brown. He's classifying Mediterranean as brown, right? These people originated in the Sahara. The north part of Sahara, which is northern Egypt, not Egypt, but northern Africa, and then southern Sahara, sub-Sahara. They existed in central or middle Africa. So they existed in this gridlock of land prior to migrating out. They flourished in an area extending from the westmost borders of North Africa into the southern Sahara. They lived on hillocks or slopes near water. Skeletons of the Mediterranean type have been found throughout Middle Africa, Southwest Asia. So let's get a count. The skeletons of the Mediterranean type have been found throughout Middle Africa, Southwest Asia, and Indo-Pakistani region, Central Asia, and ancient China. Proving or demonstrating in his writings is that the original people who left out of Africa 10,000 years ago, who settled the Mediterranean, from the Mediterranean until East Asia, from North Africa all the way to Southwest Asia, they are all known as genetically related or the same. They're variations of the same. They are Kemetic and Shemitic people groups. Why? Because they all come from the same family group. There's different family groups. You have the according to this, you have the Mediterranean, you have the Kushite, you have the Anu, right? You have the Sumerians, you have the Egyptians, or Put or Punt. You have Canaan, you have the children of Ham, you have the children of Shem. What I am getting from this, and what I'm also going over, that's a part of my hypothesis, my Semitic hypothesis, is that these people are the same. The only thing that makes them different is their cultures, but genetically they are the same. They're part of the same. They are a part of the same gene pool. They just have different cultures. Okay, and they're variations of the same. So each group is going to have a variation. Nature versus nurture. Where they migrated to, the food that they ate, the lives that they lived, the experience, the atmosphere, the environment, the habitations. Nature versus nurture. Over time, evolution is changes over time. Changes over time. Changes over time. That's what that is. So we're looking at, Dr. Winters is going over changes over time with the Homo sapiens sapien original people groups who are genetically the same, but variations of the same. Okay. Skeletons, so I'm gonna read it again. Skeletons of the Mediterranean type have been found throughout Middle Africa, Southwest Asia, the Indo-Pakistani region, Central Asia, and ancient China. It is no secret that the founders of ancient Egypt, Elam, Sumer, that's the Sumerians, and the Indus Valley were all of the Mediterranean type. And he classifies the Mediterranean type is not devoid of Negroid characteristics, not devoid of being black. They're just a different variation of black. I'll read it again. It is no secret that the founders of ancient Egypt, Elam, Sumer, and the Indus Valley were all of the Mediterranean type. Since this type originated and spread from Middle Africa to Europe, Asia, and the American continent after 4000 BC. I call the ancestors of this group the Proto-Saharans. So he's classifying the Mediterranean, the first humans, the first Homo sapiens sapiens to leave before the Kushites, okay, before another type of Shemitic people group. The first Shemitic type of people group who left were the Mediterranean type, which Dr. Winters calls the Proto-Saharans. And they went into Europe, Asia, and the Americas, which I already went over earlier and previously. Not just in this classroom, but in several other classrooms. So I encourage you to check out CWP in the classroom. Check out those different parts and segments, and then also check out the material that I have for my interviews. A Black Like Me, A Gay Like Thee, Whiteness in Film. What else? I have it right here. Let me look it up. Mother of Us All, and the deconstruction of faith and religion. So I have different parts of these interviews that I just named, and then also I have in the classroom different parts that I've already spoken about, and I have in the classroom. So go check them out. Also, I recently just released a new episode for my podcast. Please go check that out. I think you're really gonna like it. It's entitled All About the Afro. It goes under the subject matter or the part of a Black like me. So please go check it out. I think you'll really enjoy it. We're winding down now um, on this piece here of in the classroom. Okay, winding down, winding down. We're headed to the last parts here. We're on the last page we're going to cover for this segment, and then we're going to move on to. So the next classroom, I'm going to move on to another author or historian or anthropologist, someone else, a hero or someone else I look up to. We're going to read a portion of their work as well. If you want a deep dive, then once I get my Patreon going, and you want memberships and subscriptions, if you want to join those, once I get that up and going, then I'll go deeper into the material and you'll get my raw, uncut version of what I'm going to be talking about. So, but just wait until then, please. Stick around. I think you're really going to like the material and like the discussions and things I'm going to bring out. All right. Continuing on, much of the evidence of the Proto-Saharan civilization comes from archaeological and linguistic evidence. So that would be your anthropology and your linguist. The evidence of archaeology and comparative linguistics makes it possible to reconstruct the Proto-Saharan civilization. The Sahara had a savanna-like environment 10,000 years ago. In 1981, evidence from the Space Shuttle Columbia's imaging radar indicates that there formerly existed a network of rivers, rippling lakes, and buried valleys in an area which today is noted for its hybrid terrain. So this is the last part here. Now you can go and watch different subjects to prove that this is true. You can Google or you can go on YouTube right now and you can check out how the Sahara was radically different 10,000 years ago. It wasn't a desert. It had several hills of terrain. It had flowing rivers and water. It had an Amazonian type environment. As Dr. Winder says here, that it was it had rivers and rippling lakes and buried valleys in the area. It was an abundant, flowing Amazonian environment, habitation. So that's going to be the end of this portion of the classroom. Thank you for checking this out. If you stuck around this long, thank you for checking it out. Like, share, subscribe, please. And I'll catch you next time. Remember, always, to be happy, be smart, be healthy. Take care, guys.